Talia and I started working on different deals together a few years ago, and I enjoyed working with her so much. It was a no-brainer when I wanted to pair with somebody tonight, a real estate attorney that I wanted to come here and just kind of represent my business, and it was a no-brainer.
Thank you.
Please, introduce yourself and a little bit about what I could gush all over, your history, and it's really an amazing story that you're really a self-made woman. And I want you to share just a little bit of that with everybody tonight.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here and supporting our Power Millennial Women event. To give you a little background on who I am, what I do, as James mentioned, I am a real estate lawyer. I do all residential closings for my clients. The beauty of my practice is that I get to help a lot of first-time home buyers purchase their own property. And what I've noticed in the course of my career, which has been about 15 years now, representing buyers and sellers, co-ops, condos, single families, multifamilies, is that a lot more of my clientele are women and single professional women. So it really gives me a lot of joy because there was a day when there weren't many solo women buyers, okay? So I've noticed over the years that a large population of my clients are professional single women who are able to buy their own property, a lot of who did not think that they could buy their own property on their own without being married, without a man, whatever it may be. But the truth of the matter is about 50% of my clientele are professional women. So it gives me great honor to represent and help so many of you buy property, especially in New York, which to me I think is the best real estate investment tool that we have is New York City real estate, honestly. I think you're gonna get the most return on your investment buying New York City real estate than in the market, Bitcoin, sorry for all you crypto fanatics, or elsewhere, honestly. So I see it come across my desk. I see clients of mine who bought 10 years ago, even 7 years ago, and now they're selling and they're making $500,000 on their sales. Like, you just don't see that kind of return. A lot of people ask me how I got started in my practice and why. So I kind of answered the why already, which is I just love helping people. I like helping people buy properties, becoming first-time homeowners. Instead of making the landlords rich and putting all your money in rent, you're actually making yourself rich. You're paying your mortgage. You're putting your money back in your own pocket. So the why really gives me that reward. It's also a lot of volume, right? So I turn over a lot of deals because every deal is about 60 to 90 days. So I'm in and out of these transactions. I work based on volumes, about 40 closings a month or so. So it really keeps me busy, but I love it. I love what I do. I'm a solo practitioner, and people are like, how did you get started? How did you become solo? So I graduated from WashU Law. That was in St. Louis, where I'm from. I'm a St. Louis girl, Midwest. Yeah. And when I came to New York, I started working for a mid-sized law firm in Midtown, and they were doing all residential real estate. So I kind of learned the biz, learned the ropes. And then one of the partners asked me to prepare an offering plan. So every new construction condo, if you're ever buying a new development, you have to prepare an offering plan, which gets filed with the Attorney General's office. It's about like a 400-page book. It's like the Bible of the condo. It has everything in there. So he told me that he and some of his colleagues were developing a new construction condo in Brooklyn, and he wanted me as a first year, I was like a 1L, first year associate out of law school, and he's like, I want you to prepare this offering plan and draft it and get it accepted by the Attorney General's office. So I was like, okay, and he's like, I'll pay you a $5K bonus if you do so. I was like, okay, I was only making $50K as a 1L, and I was like, I'll take the extra $5,000, I was struggling. So I said, sure. So I started working on this offering plan, typed it up from scratch. Like, I didn't even have a template. I had to basically type it up from scratch. Took me like 6 months to a year to type up the whole offering plan. Finally got it filed by the Attorney General's office and accepted. And then, and this was an 2007. And then he was like, you know what, we decided to abandon the project. Sorry, we're not going to move forward with it anymore. I said, okay, well, where's my 5K? And he was like, nope, sorry, I'm not going to pay you the bonus. And I was like, are you serious? But I worked, I spent holidays, weekends, after hours, I cannot tell you. So I was so disappointed, and he was like, well, if you have any, other opportunities or endeavors, don't let me, hold you back or stand in your way. And truth be told, at that same time, I had a friend of mine from high school, actually, who was working at JP Morgan Chase. And she was like, hey, Talia, we are looking to add more women and minority bank attorneys to our list. Would you be interested? And I was like, okay, well, I'm just, kind of starting out. I said, would I have to, go out on my own, or could I bring it to the firm? And she was like, no, you'd have to be solo. And I was like, all right, so I consider this in the back of my head as the partner was stiffing me on my bonus in my face. And I was like, okay. And split, that moment, I was like, actually, I do, and I'm hereby putting in my 2-week notice, deuces. So the partner, his jaw literally dropped. He did not expect that to happen. And 2 weeks later, I was living at 63 Wall Street at the time. I don't know if you guys are familiar with FIDI, but it's like a rental building on Wall Street. So I was living at 63 Wall, and I was like, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? So I had the one account. I had Chase, okay, under my belt, and I knew how to draft offering plans. So that was my thing, right? So I started working out of my apartment with my 63 Wall Street address. I was going around to every real estate networking event that I could find, just going out, meeting and greeting people. Anytime I met a broker or a real estate agent, I'd be like, hi, do your managers ever bring you in or bring attorneys in to speak at the sales meetings? Because I would love to present seminars. Because I watched my former boss give seminars at a bunch of different real estate agencies. At the time, it was like City Habitats were the big ones. And so I would watch him, and I see that he would give these educational seminars, give out his cards, and all these agents would start referring him business. So I kind of copied that same type of protocol. So I would go, the managers would be like, sure, yeah, we bring in attorneys, no problem. I said, great. So I would go from office to office, different agencies, whoever I could find, present, an educational seminar at their real estate meetings, give out my cards, and that's how I built my business. So for the next 5 years, and I drafted 2 offering plans for other developers only because I knew how. At the time, they were paying like 25, 30K. That's really how I was supporting myself on these offering plans and slowly building my business. So I worked out of my house for 5 years. I had clients that would come to my office. I would tell the doorman downstairs, hey, if a client comes, just call me, I'll come down and greet them. And then on the 3rd floor, we had this tenant lounge, and there was a conference room on the tenant lounge. And so I would introduce myself to my client. I'd say, come with me, and we go to the tenant lounge, we sit in the conference room. I would take the contracts, go upstairs to my apartment, make copies, come back down, and then send them on their way. And literally it was seamless. And then I ended up getting office space 5 years later at 65 Broadway. I finally hired my first paralegal to work with me. And then here I am now, 13 years later on my own. I'm in Union Square. I have one associate, another paralegal, and we just churn out these closings. So I would love to assist any one of you if you guys are looking to buy or sell property. Of course, James and I are a team, package deal. But that's essentially how I got started, and I love what I do, and I'm here to support you guys and all of you and all of your real estate investments. And thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.